Hello everyone and welcome to another bins video, except we are doing books today at the Hampton bins. You can see there I'm actually on my last bin today, as you can tell from all the other bins to my left there that I have already organized all of them. And you might be wondering, why in the world do you do that if the employees don't do that? That is because I don't want to miss a single book. As you can see, my cart is already full and getting to be overflowing. I do end up going over to the table for once. They do have a table by the register that was completely clear, and I was able to actually go over there and do a sort. If you see that book right there that I just put in my cart, that is one that I am going to go look up and see if I want to pick that up. If I don't know a book, I will look it up if I find it interesting. That was actually a YouTuber book, and it did not have a good sell-through rate or price, so it did go back into the bins. But the reason why I go through the books like that is because I don't want to miss anything. I have found so many valuable books at the very bottom of a book bin, and also this makes it a lot easier for other people to shop. Now, unfortunately, it looks like you guys have gotten turned around here, so let me fast forward a bit until I can get to the point where I realize that you guys are sideways so we all don't get motion sickness. Alright, there we go, and I'm showing you this book because of the fact that I am personally mostly gluten-free. I will still eat bread, but I do have a genetic marker that makes it so it is possible for me to develop or have celiacs. Both me and my brother have it. So I try not to eat bread or drink beer. I will have it occasionally, but not often. If I do end up having a lot of gluten in a week, I will end up fully covered in hives and a giant rash, and it's very unpleasant. So I just thought it was funny. You can see here my cart is starting to overflow. I did have to fast forward, about 5 minutes into the video due to the fact that, unfortunately, you guys were sideways for quite a long time. I thought this was interesting. The dust jacket was torn. I'm checking to see if this is how old the book is, and two, if it's a first print or if it's signed, just because the book itself looked interesting. It wasn't anything worth picking up in my personal opinion, so I did end up passing on it. This is The Mars Challenge, which is a graphic novel. I could have sold that on eBay and made 50 cents or so, but I actually ended up taking that to Second and Charles. So I've talked about before in the last book video I did that my strategy when doing books at the bins is threefold. I am very fortunate that the books at my bins in my region, because Goodwills are regional, are 25 cents for paperbacks and 50 cents for hardcovers. So it is a very low bod cost at my bins. In addition, some of the other thrift stores in my area will sometimes do a 10-cent book weekend. So like I said, I'm very fortunate as someone who loves buying and selling books that it can be very cheap in my area. So what I do is I pick up books for 3 different reasons. I will pick up books, or for 3 different platforms. I will pick up books to sell on Whatnot, which are typically vintage and modern science fiction, fantasy, and horror books. I will pick up books to take to a secondhand bookseller, which is Second and Charles. And so I will turn them in for store credit in order to buy books that I can either sell on eBay or on Whatnot, or to complete sets that I can sell on eBay. Or I will buy books specifically to resell on eBay. And so that gives me 3 different platforms, 3 different opportunities to save some of these books from the landfill. I've also talked about it before that with books, most people that resell books, it's all about volume. So if you're not someone who is willing to, sell a bunch of books and make sometimes 25 cents in profit, books maybe are not for you. Or if you want to be a cherry picker and literally only pick up books and have it be part of your reselling strategy to where you'll only pick up a book and resell it if you get $20 per book, that's something you can do too. However, considering that I'm going through every single book in this book bin because of how my brain works and how important books are to me, I will go through every book and I will pick up every book that I feel like I can save. I love books. Books have been always a really major part of my life. So for me, I know that my Goodwill, most of these books, if they don't get sold, will end up either in the landfill or they will end up being recycled. So sometimes they send them to the recycler to, recycled paper. But a lot of times they just end up in the landfill. I do know that in some regions of Goodwills will actually, the books that don't sell in the bin, they will put them in a giant Gaylord, but otherwise known as a giant box that they put on a pallet. And they will sell the pallets off to people at a very discounted rate. Mine does not do that. It is my understanding that mine does not do that. So I try to pick up as many books as I can that I think I can make a little bit of profit on to save for the landfill. Again, I know that's not most people what they want to do. I just thought the name of that book was very funny, especially since it's a religious book. Phrasing is a thing. And so I just have to say this because there was a lot, I got a lot of feedback. First of all, thank you again for those of you that watched my last book bins video. I did not expect anyone to want to watch me dig through the books for like 15 to 20 minutes. And I also did not expect for someone to watch almost 55-minute long video about books where I was like going through and showing everything. So thank you guys for watching that video. But because it got a lot more views than normal, I also got a lot of individuals that maybe haven't watched my channel before, and so they don't necessarily understand my business model or why I resell. A lot of the reasons why I resell is for sustainability. That's one of the reasons why I love being a reseller, and I love the fact that I make majority of my living reselling is because I am keeping things out of the landfill. I'm giving beautiful, sometimes modern, but a lot of vintage pieces. So pieces that have been around already for 20 years, 20 plus years. Another home, another chance at being loved and cherished for hopefully another 20 years. So that way it doesn't end up in our landfill. We already have so much stuff. We live in a very more is more society. And so if I can keep some stuff out of the landfill and make a little bit of a profit off of it to make my living off of it, and also give somebody a good deal so they don't have to buy something new, I am more than happy to do that. But you can see here I am pretty fast at this, or I try to be pretty fast at this. It's a lot faster when nobody is digging through the bins with me. There were a couple times in doing the other couple of bins that you see are already organized that I did where someone literally just threw books on top of my hands, which was rude. But, it's the bins. It's going to happen. But I am pretty fast at this, and like I said, it just makes sure that I don't lose anything. So when I'm looking for books to sell on eBay, normally I have, you just develop an eye. It's just like reselling anything else. When you do it for long enough, you'll just learn publishers and authors that will sell well, or like time periods or like types of books. Yes, I do go through and fix the books. I was very upset because some of the books that I had at the top of my cart actually were Lee Modesti. They were first edition Lee Modesti hardcover books. And I was hoping, because you see there were a lot of books in here that were separated from their covers. They did not have their dust jacket. And I was hoping if I went through every single bin, I would find the dust jackets for those books, because I absolutely would resell those. That one went to Second and Charles. I sadly did not find them. I found a bunch of other dust covers for some other books that I had found or already organized in the bins that are already organized. So I just matched them up. And again, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I like doing that because books are more likely to sell, not only resell, but sell in general if they are complete. I have sold, those are fake dimes. I thought that was funny. Those are like play money dimes. I have sold books that do not have their dust jackets. Some books will sell without their dust jackets because they themselves are inherently rare or inherently valuable, and so even if it doesn't have a dust jacket, people will buy them. Sometimes they'll sell also because some people don't like dust jackets. Sometimes people don't like the flappy bits. I have seen a couple of booktubers that literally will get a brand new book and immediately just rip the dust jacket off of it and throw it in the trash. Some booktubers have changed their opinion over time about doing that. people go through phases in life, and once you buy it, it's yours, so you do whatever you want with the book. Just like, I find plenty of books that have writing inside of them. I think I talked about it a little bit in the last video I did like this, that if a book has writing on it, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. She was just asking if I was the one that had organized all the books, and I was telling her, yes, I am the one that has been organizing all the books. Also, a couple of employees came up to me and told me thank you, which is very sweet. Most people, when they see me doing this, stay out of my way and say thank you or try to put stuff back when they see I'm doing it. I'm very lucky that, as I mentioned before, like everybody at my bins is normally very respectful and very nice and very pleasant. And the reason why I am actually starting to record this video after I've already gone through the other 3 bins is because of the fact that I actually did get here at 9 o'clock in the morning. And that means that all of the t-shirt bros were here. And so I did wait to start filming until the store got a little bit quieter and a little bit less full to hopefully not record as many people in the background, and also make it so that way, like, I don't know. It just makes it a lot easier in general if there's less people around for me to record these videos. So that is what I'm trying to do, is to stay out of everybody's way, because the books also are in the very center of the store. So as soon as you walk in, almost always the first bins you are going to see are the book bins. Sometimes they'll put plush in front of the books, but recently they've been putting the books first. And also sometimes there are more bins of books than normal. The normal amount of bins is 3 for books. However, sometimes I've been coming in, and as of today there's 4. But I've also come in and there's been 7. And those days I'm definitely not filming digging through the books, because it's going to literally take me 4 hours to get through all of those. But I really like this. You've seen me pass on a lot of books in this bin. There aren't really a whole lot in here. So you see me picking up all of these middle school books. Those are all hardcover books for 10 to 12-year-olds that are actually in really great shape, and I found multiple quantities of them. So here's another one, How to Be Brave. So I actually found like a handful of each of those. And so what I've done is I've created, which you'll see in when I do the haul portion of this video, is I have created bundles, and the ones that I cannot create bundles with, I just really thought that this was cute. This is a book by a Japanese illustrator, and I just thought it was pretty. So I just wanted to look at it. I'm not going to get it. Sometimes I just stop and look at the books because they're pretty, even if it's not worth reselling. Just take a moment, appreciate it, and then pass on it. It does make me sad every time I do that, but I can't save everything. I don't have the space for it. I also had a couple questions on the last videos, so like, why, if you love selling books so much and there's so many and they're so cheap, why don't you only sell books? I don't have the space. I do not have the space for it. I already have, as of recording this video, over 400 book listings in my eBay store. I also have probably that many in bankers boxes to list as it is. And they're very heavy. So until I get to the point where I either get a giant garage, which, won't happen until the boy and I can finally find a house together, or, I grow my business to the point where I can justify the cost of renting out a warehouse of some kind. I just don't have the space to do that. So I also physically can't do it. You can see how much time and taxing this can be to dig through the books. I don't think physically I could do this every day. If you buy and sell books the way I'm doing it, like you see how much, like all of these books, that's a lot of books to process in a day. I don't think I could physically process this many books every single day to do the volume I would need to do to be able to make as much money as I do now by having this be a part of my business, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe if I grow both my store and my YouTube following and my whatnot to the point where it is something where I could easily turn these books over faster, that might be something I could do later on. But currently, it's nice for it to be a part of my business, but not the totality of my business. Also, because I have ADHD, I would, as much as I love books, if this was literally all I did, I don't think I would love it as much. You know, variety is the spice of life, and while there is a lot of variety in books, because there's cookbooks, there's genre books, there's history books, there's leather-bound books, there's paperback books, it's not enough. I like the fact that I sell a lot of different stuff. So if I get tired of listing ties, I can go list some books. If I get tired of listing books, I can go list some clothing. That's a deep sigh. I don't know if you heard that. That was a deep sigh for me because I'm getting tired. It's very physically taxing for me to be bent over into these book bins and dig through them. So I like doing it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that is also why books are not my only business. The only way I would be able to find enough books to exclusively sell books is if I went to the bins every day. And that's only if the bins continue to be the way they are right now. As I've mentioned before in earlier bins videos this year, there was a point in time last year in quarter 4 where there were no books. There were 0 books at the bins. So if I only focused on doing books and suddenly the books disappeared again, I wouldn't have anywhere to source books anymore. I mean, I would have to completely pivot how I source. And that would just bottleneck me into an uncomfortable position that I just don't want to be in. So I like it being a part of my business. I don't want it to be my entire business. So I'm pulling out the little dust jackets because I know where this book is. I'm going to crawl over here. You saw those books over there that I've put a little stack of. That's because I can't fit them yet. As soon as I organize some more books, I'll be able to fit them in, and I'll come back in and put them where they're supposed to be. And if you're wondering why I organize the books, it's, again, part of the sustainability thing where I want these books to get sold. So if I put them sideways like that so people can see the spines, so like instead of it being on a shelf, it's just organized like it would be here in the bin, like it would be on a shelf, then hopefully more of these get sold and go to new homes. I will also look at vintage magazines when I find them. This is a vintage JCPenney magazine, I think. And it's just neat to see the styles. Like, look at that lady sweater. That is a Christmas sweater if I've ever seen one. An ugly Christmas sweater if I've ever seen one. But, yeah, I love books. I like them being a part of my business. I don't ever want them to be the totality of my business. I like saving them from the trash. I like looking at them. I like smelling them. I like being around them. But that's not all I want to do. Hopefully you guys has enjoyed this, me talking about stuff while I'm digging. And now I'm going to give you to Haul Bob, and she is going to go over basically what I picked up and where it's going to go. Hi, so I'm on the little tiny camera right now because I thought it would be interesting. Obviously, I'm at the boys' house. I thought it'd be interesting to show you the bag of books that I'm taking to Second and Charles and tell you how much I paid for them at the bins, and then share with you afterwards how much I got in store credit and or cash, depending on how it goes. Probably store credit. I get back from that transaction. So this is what I'm going to actually take to Second and Charles for an immediate flip. So Second and Charles is a secondhand bookstore, and so what they like to take is manga in good shape. So that's these two. And then this is a graphic novel about the Mars Challenge. I figured they would take that. All 3 of these I could sell online, but I'd rather just get the immediate flip, and I know that Second and Charles would definitely take those. And then this is a regular, and then these 3 books, YA, and then books from authors that I know that they would take. So there is that. This is like hardcover stuff. So these are all like 25 cents each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have $1.50 into this pile. These are all the hardcovers. So again, YA. We got YA here. All these 4. And then we have this box set of Minecraft. Surprisingly, while this is $30, if you were to buy this new, it only resells on eBay for like $7. But I picked it up because I'm pretty sure Second and Charles will take this. and I'm pretty sure they'll pay me more than 50 cents for it. And then this is a regular novel. Now this I could actually sell on eBay, but I want to just go ahead and give it to Second and Charles for the immediate flip. So I have $1.50 into this set, and then I have 1, 2, so that's $3 for, math is hard. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, and then this book I actually picked up at the retail location, and the reason now this has a great sell-through rate due to Oppenheimer winning an award of some sort last year, plus this is a Pulitzer Prize winning book. But this is so heavy, so it's actually like selling for, you know, with free shipping, it's selling for like $10, and it would cost like, you know, at least $7 to ship this. So I'm pretty sure Second and Charles will take this, and I paid $1 for this. So I have $1, $2.50, $3.50, $4.50, $5.50. So I have a total of $5.50 into this bag of books that I'm taking to Second and Charles. Okay, so these are the two that they didn't take. So they didn't take this manga because they said it's too damaged. I'm guessing it's too crumply. And this one from here, this is a Sarah Denson book. So they didn't take like 50 cents worth of stuff, but let me show you how much in store credit they're gonna give me. So here is the receipt. So I can put $17.10 in store credit or $9.20 in cash. So it would technically make a couple of dollars, but I'm just gonna take the store credit and pick up a couple of books and turn that into better money. Okay, so hi, still at the boys' house, and that is because I'm going to show y'all some of the books, kind of the highlights of what I picked up at the bins, and kind of talk my process through with you guys. I kind of did this before in like a long form format where I showed you literally everything. In the last video I did like this, but I'm just gonna do the highlights this time because I really don't want to edit another 50-minute video, but it might be 50 minutes long, so fingers crossed it's not. First thing I'm going to talk about, I mentioned in the haul portion, is the girls' books. So none of these are by the same author, but they're all for the same age. They're all 10 to 12-year-old. They're meant for 10 to 12-year-olds, so middle school readers. These all have female protagonists, and these all of these books are in like new condition as hardcovers. So I made 2 of these bundles to sell, and so that way, like, it's worth it, whatever. I also actually got several additional copies of these 2 books. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and list these individually and then put multiple quantity and hope that people take care of or do the buy 3 get 1 free, because I will have offerings available that work like that. We'll see what happens, but I wanted to try because all of these were in such good shape and to see how that does. And honestly, I feel like the more books, more different types of books I have available to offer, more people will take advantage of the buy 3 get 1 free. I also talked about how I will pick up books that I know I can make bundles of later because I find them frequently. This one actually is not one I find frequently. This is my first time finding Frederick Bachman at all, but this is in honestly like new condition. And he is most famously known for A Man Called Ove. But what I will do, like, I could sell this singly, but what I think I'm going to do is hope to find more from him and put it in a bundle if I don't end up just reading that book myself. My TBR is very long, so that might not work. And TBR means to be read if you're not part of the book community. This is Ian Forster's A Passage to India. I actually have another book by Ian Forster, and I know it's pretty much the exact same size of trade paperback. So what I'm going to do is partner this with that book as soon as I find it in either the 4 or 5 boxes of books to list I have in my house, and put these together as a pair and, you know, have a higher profit margin by doing it that way. These are 2 books by Tanith Lee, and they're all part of the same series. This is book 1 and this is book 2. There are 4 books in this series, And if you saw a little bit earlier, I went to Second and Charles and turned some books in and got store credit. One of the books I was able to buy with that store credit is the second book in this series. They sadly did not have the fourth book. So I will just keep this on my mantelpiece of hope until I get the fourth book. And I'll actually probably read this first book just because Tanith Lee is an excellent writer, and I would like to read some YA from her and see how it goes. Also, this is going to be super quick to read, and I just need to read. We have a copy of Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, this nice little trade paperback. I'll find either more Ernest Hemingway to put this in a bundle, or I will find some more like that, some more American greats to do with. Like, I'll put Scott Fitzgerald with him, or some other dudes. Jane Austen, Mansfield Park. Again, I come across Jane Austen pretty frequently. I'll just put these in a lot together with 2 other of her books and we'll be good. So those are books that I would get to like build into lots together. Now I'm going to show you some books that are worth selling on their own. Again, worth is subjective to you and your business. This is Handbook of Watch and Clock Repair, which I was surprised that this book actually has a pretty great sell-through considering it is a vintage repair book. This is from 1974, it's the 3rd printing. These are going for like $20 free shipping. So I picked that up. This I knew was gonna be valuable because I am a nerd. And so when I saw this Baldur's Gate 2 book, I got really excited. These are consistently selling for $25 to $30 on eBay. Now, if you get the first book and sell this as a set, it's like $50, $55. However, there's actually 4 books in this Forgotten Realms series for video games. And if you find Planescape Torment, which Torment is my favorite video game of all time, if you did not know that, the Torment book by itself sells between $45 and $60. There is a 4th book called Pool of Radiance, Ruins of the Myth Draenor. That is actually a book that will, if you get all 4 of those books and sell them in a lot, it's like $125 to $140 book lot with just 4 little paperback books. So nerdy books to be on the lookout for. So I was very excited to find this. So this will go up on eBay. This is also a big surprise to me. I pick up vintage cookbooks pretty frequently. You guys have seen that before. But this one actually has a really high sell-through rate. This is the Stuffed Cougar. I think it's probably because both the cat and the name are selling it. It's from the Patrons Association of the Collegiate Schools from Richmond, Virginia, and this is from 1987. It's a 9th printing. But yeah, this is consistently selling for 20 bucks on eBay, so that was a lovely surprise. Here is a copy of Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, and this is a permabound copy, so this did not have a dust jacket. So I just thought that this was really pretty and it was gonna look pretty on the shelf, so I picked this up. I pick up any hardcover copy, unabridged copy of Black Beauty I find, honestly, because they sell for me. I also picked up a Garfield book. It was a little hardcover from the 80s. And that already sold. You know, I only made like $1 profit off of it, but it's one of those books, like, I have a lot of nostalgia to Garfield. 1, the comic strip, and 2, the cartoon that they used to have in like the 80s. So I pick that stuff up normally when I find it, and it sold very quickly. So I thought that was great. This was a treat. The next book I'm going to show you is actually an antique book. It's from 1892, and the reason I know that is because the previous owner wrote that in it. This is from Gussie Munsell, February 22nd, 1892. This is
a copy of Romola by George Eliot. George Eliot is a classic novelist. You can actually buy Romola by George Eliot now currently if you went onto Amazon, because it is still in print, because again, this is considered a classic piece of literature. Romola was originally published as a 2-volume set, and that is because, you know, book printing and book binding was labor and cost intensive, and you couldn't really make books like this and fit them into 1 volume. So I think Little Women was also originally like a 2-volume set. So that 1 book was 2 books actually when it was originally published, but as printing got better and easier and more cost effective, then they were able to like make it into 1 book instead of a volume set. This book was originally published in the early 1860s, and so you can see that in 30 years it was able to become 1 book. But this book is not in the best shape, so it's probably not going to get much, but because of the fact like it's still readable if you're very gentle with it. Some of the pages are starting to come away, but most people when they buy books like that, they're buying it to collect them or as an aesthetic vibe. So this book probably is only going to sell due to the condition issues on it, even though it's an antique book, for around $20, and that's okay with me because I'm saving a book that is at this point over 130 years old from the landfill. I also picked up several of these Harvard Classics. I've talked about before how I will pick up the Harvard Classics whenever I find them in these leather-bound volumes. There's actually like 6 or 7 of these, and they have different topics. There's Aesop, Grimm, and Anderson, so that's Hans Christian Andersen. Dante, who is most famous for, you know, Inferno, Purgatory, and I forgot what he called heaven. Anyway, Dante's trilogy of the pathways of heaven and hell, I guess. I don't know exactly what that's called. It's the Divine Comedy. I don't know why my brain just absolutely refused to remember that when I was trying to say it in the video. But that's what it's called, the Divine Comedy. But I have several of these. You can see that they need to be cleaned, so I'll take some Anglais cleaner, the same cleaner I would use to clean shoes, to clean this up and try to get the schmutz off. And I will actually list this out of the set. I, however, will pick these up if I only find 1 because they sell. I sold recently actually one of these Harvard Classics. I think it was Pure, which is a philosopher, I believe. One of the Grecian or Roman philosophers, Plutarch, whatever. I sold that one I think for like $14, and it sold as soon as I listed it. So I'm actually just going to increase my average sale price and just list this as a nice chunky set further for me. So there is that. And yeah, so I actually got more books than this. I wanted to just kind of show you the highlights of the stuff that I am putting up for sale on eBay. I will, however, be also doing a Whatnot show for all the stuff that I picked up for Whatnot, because remember, I have a 3-fold plan. I have a bag of books that go to Second and Charles, which you guys saw that process, to either pick up as money or store credit. I have a big box of books, which in this case, it's like 3 bags of books because I'm currently out of boxes. I need to get listing for eBay, and then I normally have a bag of books to go on Whatnot. So, but in this instance, I have a box and a bag of books to go on Whatnot because I have been slowly collecting them over time to make that happen. So if you want to see what I actually am going to put up for sale on Whatnot, I have a book channel, and that haul will be on my book channel. So that will be linked up above and of course down below if you want to see that haul. And I know books are not for everybody, but they are for me, and I hope you enjoyed this look into my thought process and thrifting of books. Well, hello there. So I actually meant for this video and the haul video on my other channel to come out at the same time. Unfortunately, it got to be 1 a.m. and that wasn't gonna happen. So you guys are actually going to get an after as well. So these are the items that did not sell during my Whatnot
I had a total of 37 listings and I sold 24 of them, so that means 13 of them did not sell. And that's okay, because one of them was the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I have bought and sold that more than once on my eBay store. That's perfectly fine. The Edgar Rice Burroughs, I was actually surprised that that didn't sell, because that's actually a first edition and is worth, even in the tattery condition that it's in, quite a bit more than $2. If you find a, it's from 1919, and if you find a first edition hardcover of that particular book, still with the dust jacket, it is going to be a $400 to $1,000 book. It just depends on the condition of the book, because books are very much a condition. But mine is, like I said, a little tattery, so I'm definitely not even expecting $50. It's a great piece of history, because Edgar Rice Burroughs is the Jungles of Tarzan. He is the creator of Tarzan. So there is that information for you. So you can still go and watch the haul video and see basically what did sell, because I panned over what did not sell, and you can see what people are buying. And everything that's left over that isn't the Edgar Rice Burroughs and isn't the Lord of the Rings, because those two are going to get listed on eBay, I'm actually just going to hold. I either do two things after Whatnot auction. I will either take the remainder to Second and Charles and just turn it into more store credit for later. Or what I do is I actually, if I have still store credit left over, which I do, I will see if I can make sets, and that way it makes it so I can sell it on eBay or try it again on Whatnot, depending on how comps are on eBay. If it'll be better to just like wait till I have a set and either list it on eBay or list it again as a set on Whatnot. So that's normally my strategy for that, and then of course I still have all of those other books on eBay to list. But the books that sold on Whatnot, my total cost of goods for all the books that did sell was $10, and I actually, once you take that $10 out, still made a net profit of $36, which if you combine that with the net profit that I made from the clothing, the clothing Whatnot that I did in a previous video, which I will link up above if you have no idea what I'm talking about. All of that came from the same trip. So I spent $59.10 on everything that I got that day at the bins, including books, which you are seeing in this video, and the clothing. And after two Whatnots, and after taking out the cost of goods sold, I still made a net profit of over $100, well over $100 in a week. So I know Whatnot is not for everybody, and I wish I had the physicality and the energy to be able to go to the bins every day, do like a book show in the morning, and do a book show in the morning, go to the bins, and then at night do like clothing show, and just do that every day. That would be amazing, but I physically cannot do that. Doing 3 shows a week is a lot for me physically. And then even if I did do it every day, I basically wouldn't have any time to do videos or list on eBay. So it is a great addition to my business, but I will never replace, I will never only be a Whatnot seller. It's just unfortunately too taxing on me to have a turnover that fast. As much as, you know, it would be great to do that and also have eBay. I just physically can't. I'm physically incapable of doing that. A better way to say that is that I did 2 shows. I recouped fully the $59.10 that I spent on my inventory for the week for the Ben's trip. And I also made an additional $100 profit. Plus, I have more stuff left over that didn't sell in either of those Whatnot shows that I can now list on eBay. That will be pure profit. So, again, I really love this. I wish I could do it. I just physically can't. But I hope that this was interesting to you, and I'm super glad that you guys decided to watch this video and have been receptive to my book content. It really makes me happy. I have a book channel which I will do more hauls, and I also, you know, do reviews of stuff. So if you are a book lover, that's available to you as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye. Bye.
I wanna be a hero, hero.
Oh, the hero comes, I can hear the drums and a horse is drawn to the kingdom come through the pale moonlight. Our hearts ignite to the core.